Joining us in studio is somebody who knows a lot about getting the percussion right, knows what is the right thing called a cymbal or what is a snare. This is a young lady doing great things. Sima joins us in studio this afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday Hangout.
Good day, good day. Thank you for having me, guys.
You know, one thing that came to my mind when they asked me who do you want to talk to, I was like, Sima Mthethwa, right? But why? Because I want to ask her, have you ever worn heels to church?
Yes, yes. And I've actually played, but they're very uncomfortable. You know?
You played wearing heels?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sima Mthethwa is joining us in the studio. An amazing drama. We'll be right back and have conversation with Sima Mthethwa right here on Hope Alive Radio to celebrate World Drama Day. To send in some text and tell us and let us know what are you thankful for this Thankful Thursday. I think she's thankful that she can play drums with heels. Wow.
This is Hope Alive Radio, shaping minds for a better future.
Yeah, it's 14 minutes after the hour, 1 o'clock. We're hanging out with the only lady who can play drums wearing heels at the same time. Talk to us. Why did you get into a space of loving drums? What happened?
Basically, yaikuthanda izinto because kutawa engikhulele kuyo.
Yeah.
I was always curious, ukuthi, hey man, I didn't know then ukuthi hi-hat, snare, so
Yeah.
every time eshaya somewhere there's a different sound,
Yeah.
So up until I got to sit behind the kit, and marvelously, the first time I actually sat behind the kit, I played a pattern. I landed on the one. So since then, I've never looked back.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. That's beautiful. Let's just greet the listeners at home and let them know where does Usamgele come from? Sima Mthethwa.
Greetings to everyone. Igama lami Sima Mthethwa.
Yeah.
Born in PE, but moved to Joburg to pursue and also study music, pursue a career in music too. Yeah, that's basically me.
So the PE girl gets to Johannesburg and gets into a space where you're studying.
Yeah.
And how did that part of your journey go in terms of the studies itself?
The one thing about people, when you tell them that you study music, they think it's
Yeah.
a walk
in
in
a
the park.
It's not.
But it's not. It was very challenging for someone
Yeah.
who was self-taught for over the years.
Yeah.
One thing about me, I loved watching DVDs. I come from a very musical family,
Yeah.
So Ekaya, my mom would attend the shows of Pastor Benjamin Dube.
Yeah.
Joyous Celebration, you name them, and
Yeah.
she'd always buy the DVDs, But for me, I was fascinated by Usabu when he joined Joyous 12,
Wow.
I'd always wonder, where does he get the energy from? You see, he's
And
enjoying
he's
it,
getting older, but he's still got that
I still has
bottles
that
of energy.
energy,
Yeah.
So I'd always try to transcribe what he's playing, I'd use my
I love
ear
that.
and be like,
Yeah.
okay, this, and by God's grace, ngakula through that, and then getting into music, studying music full time, it was
Yeah.
just something different because I never knew what I was playing was this, let's say,
Yeah.
singles, doubles, ama-rudiments, and whatnot, up until ngaqala esikolweni, it broadened my mind, it opened my mind to a lot of things. But studying music full time, I beg fiwa.
There's always something that has fascinated me, and a lot of people don't know this.
Yeah.
Actually, when you're playing a drum, there are actually notes for the drum. There's a way that you're supposed to play it in a certain way.
Yeah.
So all those elements of things that you now got into class now learning to say.
Yeah. For those, it was mostly practical, which was drums, my major, and also improv. Improv, you were given solo ka Steve Gadd. It was 3 pages. For your exam, you had to learn that. And one mistake, it's shy. One mistake.
Wait a minute. For an exam.
Tests, exam, everything, whatever that. It's typical example.
Yeah.
We give you all the glory when Usabu was playing there alone. It's like you were given that solo to study, and for your test exam, you play that as it is.
And the person listening must be unable to identify which one is original. It must sound exactly like the original.
Exactly as it is. Exactly as
And
it
how was
is.
the pressure of dealing with this kind of an examination? Because now you are self-taught, you're coming from Kasi and
Yeah.
maybe playing in church here and there.
Yeah.
But here you are now having to now get into a space where you have to improv a whole jazz classic.
Yeah. It yes, ikhona laa nto kuthiwa uba, okay, for life orientation, you can go, right? Life orientation ungafundanga. But
Yeah.
in music, awuna choice but to study. Because
No
if you don't
shortcut.
if you don't check, if you don't study, if you don't
Yeah.
uzofela because lecture yakho, your lecturer has been teaching that module, I don't know for how many semesters.
Yeah.
So see how it goes.
Yeah.
You know, my drum practical teacher, Mr. Mbot, knew exactly at your sim. So you had to check whether you like it or not. You had to practice whether you like it or not. And one thing about my practical teacher, Mr. Mbota, he's able to tell if I will check check it the night before your lesson with him. But check it last minute when I lay in. So music,
Let's stay there a little bit. What is the difference now looking at Usima, the self-taught,
Yeah.
and now coming out of musical studies? What has changed about how you play now?
Mostly for me, it's application of what I've learned eskolweni. And one thing about jazz, you can apply it wherever, be it gospel, be it hip hop, amapiano, you can apply everything. So for me, it made me be aware and conscious of what I'm playing,
Okay.
where I'm playing, and when I'm playing it, and how I apply it. Khona laa nto yokuba song starts, so uyayivula ushaya ama-right and whatnot. But you know, it's like a plane taking off, uqala kancane kancane, and then you build up the song, You know, typical example, a verse and a chorus in a song. Yayazi ukuthi verse, simple, rim short, mara chorus, snare, uyayivula, climax, ama-right and whatnot, you know. So yeah.
Wow. And let's say someone listening in right now is a young lady who would wish to take that journey, playing the drums specifically, but it's normally felt like a male-dominant position. Kakul, it's more like, machita, it's a machita, you know. And when you walk into a building, and it's a band, everyone... Back in the day, now it's different because you're well known, you're renowned for what you do. When you walk into a room with band members, they would know, Siamaz. But back in the day, obviously, you'd have to walk into different rooms where you're still upcoming. And then they'll be like, maybe she's a backing vocalist. What would you say?
That many times. Got that many times.
How would you encourage a young lady like you who wants to get into the industry but has that fear, Yokuti, it's so male dominated?
For me, man, above everything else, know your why. Know the why you are starting, because if you don't know the why you are starting, you'll just leave it as it is when you feel the pressure. You know, know the why you want to take this route, you know. And just stick to it, man. I believe that God akasoza kuzise kwindawo ayazi yoba you won't have the capabilities to withstand whatever that you face, you know, in the industry. Because I play with Our Steps and Olens. I looked up to them when I started playing. I used to see Our Steps on Afro Cafe. Very amazing bassist, man, you know. And Ngambuza, Our Steps, you've been in the industry for quite some time. What is it like? She was like, hey, being in the music industry, you constantly need to prove yourself. She's been in the industry for over 20 years, but even today, it's that thing, but you constantly need to prove yourself. You know, so know your why. Don't give up easily. It's not easy, really, in the industry, because since in day one, things evolve. So know your why, stick to it, and continue. Have a thick skin. Another thing, have a thick skin. Have a very, very thick skin, because this industry is not for the faint-hearted. It's not for the faint-hearted, but I don't want to lie.
And for you, what has kept you having that thick skin to know doesn't?
For me, goes back to knowing my why. Knowing my
so
why.
everything ties back to knowing your why.
And for me, it's also knowing the source who gave me this.
Ooh, I love that. I love that.
Because le gift le andinikwanga ngumuntu besides God. You know? So everything that happens, everything I go through, I know it's part of the journey. It's part of the journey. And there's somewhere that I'm going. And I need to go through all these things so that when I get to that destination, all that I faced was worth it, man.
Wow.
Was worth it.
Wow.
Yeah.
What are you doing in terms of empowering the next drama from a female perspective? Do you have some sort of programs or some sort of tutorials that you run to help the next generation as yet?
I had students last year, you know.
Wow.
Yeah. But Glonyaka, it's that thing of finding space.
Oh, all right.
Starting a music school and
Wow.
just teaching the young ones, man, at a very early age. Because another thing that I've noticed between the States and South Africa,
Yeah.
with the parents in the States, it's easy for a parent to see, my son loves drums, my girl loves piano. Let me put him in a school that teaches music. Whereas in South Africa, you find that probably at the ages of 20, that's when we start learning.
You start getting the opportunity. Yeah.
But in the States, that's when they start playing professionally. So there's a vast difference. Abazali bethi, hi, you're going to be a doctor, an engineer. You know, and sadly, at times you find that it's not even, I want to be a doctor. I want to be a musician, you know. But yeah, Abazali have their own plans.
Yeah. Let's rewind it back then and go back to now, going to Abazali to say, Tata, full-time music. What was the reaction? How was the reaction for though they are music lovers, because you come from a musical background, people that love music. For you, how was that part?
Yeah, but for me, in my family, I have a cousin sister who was part of Joya Celebration.
Yes.
You know, not having those materialistic things like a huge mansion to show you've been in the industry, have fancy cars, you know. So my mom wouldn't allow me. I went to a technical high school. I studied civil and mechanical in high school. So my mom had that thing, she's going to be an engineer. So we have that, we sat down, had that conversation about, Ndanam, you're going to finish your matric. What do you want to do? I know. I want to study music full time. Hey, my mom.
She blew a gasket.
Yeah. Studied mechanical.
So wait a minute. You started off your journey by studying mechanical.
Yeah.
How long did you go?
But it was that thing, but my heart was not there.
Yeah.
You know? So in that whole process of me studying mechanical engineering, I was gigging like there's no tomorrow in PE. And my mom like, why notice? And it was that thing, but
wow.
That's go
amazing.
study
Wow.
what you want, you know, what your heart wants, you know. And I was like, till this day, ndiyambulelo my mom for that.
Wow.
You
for
know,
coming back to you.
Because abazali abakwazi uthi xolo mntanam bendirongo here. But when it comes to my mom, that's one thing I truly appreciate. You know, like now, even back home, at each and every gig, my mom would be first row.
Wow.
You know?
And the spotlight is not really on the daughter, but she's there to say, my spotlight is on my daughter.
And
wow.
for me, that's one of the things I miss because my mom is in PE, I'm in Joburg. So whenever I have a gig, like, my mom would be there, you know, rooting me on, cheering me on and stuff. So, yeah, man. Yeah.
And moving from that gig space, because it's very hard to move from gigging, because a lot of people, they get into gigging and never study professionally.
Yeah.
Now, after you have studied professionally, how has the gig economy been for you in terms of your now professional? Because you're no longer Sima the drama, you are Sima the professional drama.
Yeah. There's this other jamming of Funumbiza Gama before I moved to this side. I was like, I want to study music. And he was like, no, don't study music. I was like, But now my decision not to go and study music. Yeah, well, and for me, qualification goes a long way.
Wow, true.
Having a paper goes a long way, because there are certain gigs that people get kufuneke ukuthi you are able to read
Music,
sight
yep,
read.
exactly. Yeah.
And unfortunately for those that didn't study, it becomes a bit of a challenge, because you can't get that job because you can't read music.
You'd be asking the
Yeah,
music
well,
director, like, "Ngicela ungibonise ukuthi ufuna ngidlale."
because we just is la. 1, 2. Everyone knows what to play.
Yeah.
Because bathonge score, I can't know about you gonna do your own thing. As it is,
It must follow the score.
must follow the score.
Yeah.
So qualification goes a long way.
Wow.
Even when you want to teach, you need to have like
A qualification.
Yeah.
So it's actually supposed to be possible because you've got this gift that is coming from God. But now you can excel in using the gift and also now equipping others to learn how to use the drums.
And Gasham, in the music industry, you can't be stagnant as an instrumentalist. Things evolve.
Yeah.
Things change. Like Temba Masina was there,
Yeah.
Sabo was there, Sneaky. Baninzo FDO and Omdluli, Ramon Sampson,
Yeah.
and whatnot. So it's a skis. I'm just seeing my dad. Yeah, but so
I
things
consider
evolve,
that.
like technology, like things
Yeah.
evolve. Isn't just change? So you need to keep up.
Yeah.
You need to keep up.
Wow.
You need to
And
keep
how important is that, Sima? Because you just mentioned something that's very key about going forward in life. Because if you never keep up, you're bound to be lost.
There's someone that's always gonna be better at what you do.
Ooh.
There's someone that's always gonna be better. Typical example: you are a keyboard player. You can't. Utiba, you can only play in 2 keys. I wouldn't hire Umdu that can play in 2 keys when there's someone that can play in all 12 keys without,
Yeah, true.
you know.
Without transposing,
So there's always someone that's gonna be better.
Better than you.
Yeah, so you can't relax. You can't check. Practice. Go back to the basics. Always basics. Everything.
Wow.
You know.
Wow, I really appreciate you coming through this afternoon
Thank you
and
for
sharing
having
this.
me.
I would love to know in the future what can we look forward to from you. You already talked about the potential of starting that music school, and what can we look forward to you in the future?
By God's grace, releasing my own music, man, in God's time.
Wow.
Releasing my own music. Be writing some pieces and whatnot, but I know it's not yet time, but eventually in God's
Is
time.
this as a drama soloist or a full arrangement of music?
I whole band, everything.
Wow.
Alice.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
It doesn't just end on playing for certain artists, you know. Me, myself, I'm a brand.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a brand working with other brands. So it doesn't just end on the playing, man.
Yeah.
It goes beyond that. It's beyond that, but
Wow. How can we reach you if someone is listening to the show and perhaps would love to be a private student, or
Yeah.
maybe they would love for you to come through and be a part of their band for a gig? Are you still open for gigs? Because
Yeah.
you do a lot, and you still have as well great bookings that come through your way.
Yeah.
How do people reach out to you?
You can find me on social media, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram I use. The same handle, it's Sima_Matatis. And then on Facebook, it's Sima Mthethwa. Yeah.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you and the great work that you're doing.
Thank you,
Before
sir.
you go, what would be your parting words to our listeners this afternoon from you, from your heart? Anything that you want to speak from your heart to our listeners at Hope Alive radio station this afternoon? Take it away.
We're living in the end times, man. Make sure that you are rooted to your creator, rooted to the source. You can't make it in this life without Jesus.
Wow.
That's all. That's all.
Sam, thank you so much, Sima. We appreciate
Thank you for having me, Futi.
From the Winter Hangout from Hope Alive Radio. Bamba.
Thank you. Thank you.
Before we let you go, what are you jamming to and what will we play this afternoon for you?
Oh, what am I jamming to?
Yeah.
It has to be Makomba Ndlela by Pastor Colin Maluleke. That pattern Dosh plays. Oh my God. Yeah, just has to be that one song.
Yeah. Makomba Ndlela. It's an amazing song. Let's pay some bills and then we'll come back with that particular song. Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys.
This is Hope Alive Radio, shaping minds